Ladies and gentlemen, this is the criminal complaint the state of Wisconsin filed against defendant Taylor Denise SCHABUSINESS, née Coronado. This was filed. I don't want to do this. March 1st, 2022. Or was it January 3rd? It was March 1st. Okay. I've been here so long that I get my dates mixed up because every country has their own damn dating system. That's March 1st, 2022. Here in Korea, that would be 3rd of January, 2022. So, all right. State of Wisconsin plaintiff versus Taylor Denise SCHABUSINESS. Dear God, what has she done? Well, here are the charges. First charge against Taylor Denise SCHABUSINESS. Move the camera here where I can see it. First degree intentional homicide repeater. Repeater does not mean that she's committed first degree murder once before. It just means she's got other things that she's worrying about as well. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to do that. No, I'm trying to find a trying to find a nice way where we could share. We go. I know because I know you all came here to see me and my handsome mug. So I wanted to make my face as big as possible. We could do this. Is that too small? Well, I don't care. That's what I'm going to do anyway. Can't read that? Fine. Just listen to me. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Okay. Now it's too big. All right. Boop, there we go. Slide this down over here. Nope. That's as big as it gets. That's what she said. All right, that's good. Here we go. Let's start reading part 2 of the Taylor SCHABUSINESS pretrial run-up. State of Wisconsin versus Taylor Denise SCHABUSINESS criminal complaint filed on March 1st, 2022. Complainant Caleb Saunders, an assistant district attorney, being first duly sworn on oath, deposes and says that count 1. There's 3 counts she's been charged with here. Count 1, first degree intentional homicide, repeater. Repeater does not mean that she's committed first degree intentional homicide before. The above named on or about Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did cause the death of the victim with intent to kill that person. Contrary to the law, a Class A felony, and upon conviction shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. No death penalty in Wisconsin. She's convicted. She, along with Chandler Halderson, and other people that have been convicted of doing horrific things in Wisconsin, they go to prison for life. And further invoking the provisions of section because the defendant is a repeater, having been convicted of battery or threat to a judge, prosecutor, or law enforcement officer, which is what we talked about earlier in the first part, dealing with the background. She'd had other problems with law enforcement officers, a few fleeings, a few batteries, a few resisting, a few obstructions, etc., etc. Because of that, they get what's called a repeater tag added onto it. And what that means is, which conviction remains recorded and unreversed, the maximum term of imprisonment for the underlying crime may be increased 6 years if the prior conviction was a felony. So, life for count 1, she would get life in prison plus 6 years. Count 2, mutilating a corpse. This is where it starts to get bad. Mutilating a corpse after he was dead. The above named defendant, on or about Wednesday, February 3rd, 2022, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did dismember a corpse with the intent to conceal a crime. Contrary to the law, a Class F felony, and upon conviction, may be fined not more than $25,000 or imprisoned not more than 12 years and 6 months, or both. So now it's life imprisonment plus 18 years and 6 months. See, this is one thing I don't get. The repeater for first degree murder is only 6 years, only an additional 6 years. But if you chop up a corpse you can go to jail for 12 years. You'd think that actually committing the murder would be a little worse, would be punished a little more severely than chopping someone up with the repeater clause. But anyway, it's not. And further invoking the provisions of this, because the defendant is a repeater. Oh, never mind. I completely misread that. That's just the punishment for the crime itself. Okay. Sorry about that. Please ignore everything I just said for the last minute. It's been a while since I've read this. So, yep, for dismembering a corpse, she gets 12 years and 6 months. Now, because of this repeater thing she's got tagged on here, because of the battery or threat to a judge, prosecutor, or law enforcement officer, the maximum term of imprisonment for the underlying crime may be increased. So she can get a bump. Life imprisonment plus 18 years and 6 months plus another little bump. And now, third degree. Count three is third degree sexual assault. Repeater. The above-named defendant, on or about Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did have sexual intercourse with the victim without that person's consent. Those words were chosen very carefully. Those words were chosen intentionally. Did have sexual intercourse with the victim. Meaning the victim, before he was a victim, he wasn't a victim. But after he was dead, she did things to him. Yes, a little bit sleepy. That's one way of putting it. She bonked a corpse. So that's where these charges come from. And oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, if you can hear what sounds like someone choking to death, it's my bulldogs. I have 2 English bulldogs, and they're both snoring at my feet. So any you're hearing, that's my dogs. And soon, a few more super chats will come in, and we'll turn on Doggo Cam, where we just watch the dogs sleep. So, all right, I told you there's no easy way to get through this. We've just got to do it. So, yes, she's been charged with third-degree sexual assault because she had intercourse with the victim without the person's consent, contrary to law, and upon conviction may be fined not more than $25,000 or imprisoned to not more than 10 years or both. And further invoking the provisions of law because the defendant is a repeater, having been convicted of battery or threat to a judge, prosecutor, law enforcement officer in Brown County, case number, which convictions remain of record and run reversed, the maximum term of imprisonment for the underlying crime may be increased 4 years if the prior conviction was a felony. Yeah. The amateur iconoclast says that's what Jeff wants us to believe. What does Jeff want? I want you to believe none of this happened. I don't know what you want. What do you think I want people to believe? I don't want to believe any of this because it's horrific. All right, probable cause. All right, that was the dry reading of the offenses she's been charged with. The probable cause, this is the section where they get into the details about why she was charged. And unhung hero, do me a favor and never, ever, ever use the phrase rigor coitus again. No, do not do that. No, no. Go. Bad boy, go to your room. Oh, dear. Flux, double decapitation. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you so much, Flux. Unhung hero, what does your business? See, that's better. That's better than rigor coitus. You're not allowed to say that term here. That one chick, what the hell is going on in Wisconsin lately? All these trials happening up there. I think it's just because Wisconsin is very, very liberal. Like Wisconsin, Florida, and Texas, all of these things get broadcast, get streamed. So I think it's always been happening. We just haven't heard about it. But now the cameras are on, and we're seeing it more. So it's becoming more in our consciousness. And Nicholas Staroff's trial watch. We should throw her a bone. I mean, all right, guys. Shame on you. especially you, Unhung Hero, for that rigor coitus thing. All right, let's get into the probable cause, you degenerate. This is, we got 1,141 of you here now. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, we're going to be covering this thing gavel to gavel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification buttons and do not miss a minute of this. We'll have guests on who will watch this with us and give their commentary as we go along. But let's get into the reasons why the prosecutor thought she needed to be charged with first-degree murder, mutilating a corpse, and sexually assaulting the victim. I really do need another drink. Probable cause. The complainant, being duly sworn on oath, swears that he has had the opportunity to review the police reports from officers of the Green Bay Police Department and other documents supporting the complaint. Referenced herein, which are the types of reports and documents kept in the ordinary course of business, which complainant believes to be truthful and reliable because they have proven to be truthful and reliable on numerous occasions in the past. So the prosecutor is saying, I believe that these reports that the police are giving are true and accurate because they've been true and accurate in other cases in other times. Your complainant also bases this complaint upon statements of TP. TP is the mother of the victim, is the mother of Shad Therian. Bless TP's heart. I can't imagine what it would be like to be her. So this complaint is also based on statements of TP, the victim's mother, who is presumed to be reliable as a citizen witness in this instance. Your complainant also bases this complaint upon the statements of Taylor SCHABUSINESS, which were against her penal, unfortunate choice of words, interest. Oh, the jokes write themselves, don't they? But yes, in the world of self-snitching, Taylor SCHABUSINESS is the self-snitchiest of all self-snitches that ever self-snitched. And we will see why. She said many things that were against her penal interest. You'd think after being a lawyer for 30 years and law school for 3 years, you wouldn't snicker like a 12-year-old when someone says penal interest, but I'm sick. I'm like 6 years old up here. The complainant further asserts that based upon his review of the referenced reports and or supporting documents, the incidents alleged occurred in Brown County, Wisconsin. Okay, so we've established the jurisdiction of the Brown County, Wisconsin courts. Number one, here we go. Strap yourself in. It's going to get rough from here on out. Your complainant's review of the report of Officer Alex Wanish of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that on February 23rd, 2022, at about 3:25 a.m., Officer Wanish was dispatched to a residence that is located in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, for a report of a severed head being found in a bucket in the basement. And we are off to the races. Somebody found a head in a bucket in the basement. Well, upon arrival, Officer Wanish met with TP, the victim's mother, who allowed officers into the residence. Officer Wanish reports he went down to the basement. Once he reached the bottom of the stairs, Officer Wanish observed the plastic bucket on the floor. Officer Wanish observed a shower/beach towel over the bucket. Officer Wanish lifted the towel and observed a human head inside the bucket. Wanish looked around the room and observed what appeared to be dried blood on a nearby mattress. Now, just so we know here, I'm going to pull up my YouTube studio here, and we're going to do a demonetization watch. You can check the monetization status of each of your videos in YouTube's studio here, and it's 3 levels. They'll do Like green is everything is okay. Yellow is you have limited ads, and red means you're just done. You're ineligible for ads. Your stream is demonetized. I've just turned it. When I started telling you about the levels, that's when I clicked it on. Instantly, we went yellow. Literally, it was green for about 4 seconds. Then we went yellow. All right, so let's see how long it takes to go red. Right, so they've got the head in the plastic bucket on the floor at the bottom of the stairs. 2, your complainant's review of the report of Officer Garth Russell of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that on February 23rd, 2022, Officer Russell was asked to assist by going to a residence on Eastman Avenue in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin. This is where Taylor SCHABUSINESS was found. So Officer Russell gathered information that a person identified as Taylor D. SCHABUSINESS, date of birth 11/23/1997. And things like this freaks me out. She's almost exactly 3 years older than my son. And it freaks me out that this is like she's the age of my son is now when she did this shit. That is so weird to me. Ugh. So who was last seen with the victim may be living at the Eastman Avenue address. Officer Russell also learned there was a van associated with SCHABUSINESS. Officer Russell reviewed a prior photograph of SCHABUSINESS. As officers inspected the van, Officer Russell saw SCHABUSINESS emerge from the apartment building, and upon seeing officers, she stopped. Officer Russell could see that SCHABUSINESS had what appeared to be dried blood on the front of her black hooded sweatshirt, as well as her black sweatpants. Officer Russell later found SCHABUSINESS's hands appeared to be smeared with blood as well. And there was also what looked like dried blood on the back of her sweatshirt. So essentially, Taylor SCHABUSINESS didn't bother to change clothes, take a shower, clean up, do anything. She was still soaked and covered in blood when the police arrived. Officer Russell asked SCHABUSINESS if she knew why the officers were there. And she stated something that sounded like, because of my warrant for my arrest. Now, that can mean two things. Either it means that she was saying, okay, because you've probably issued a warrant for my arrest because I chopped up my boyfriend. Or, as we were talking, we're not sure why she was out of jail at this point in time. She'd been sentenced to, was it 6 months with work release or 3 months with work release? But at this point, we don't know if she was given an early release or if she'd been out on work release or something and just never went back. So it could mean that she knew she didn't go back, and so that she assumed they had issued a warrant for arrest. But whatever, we'll just stick with the likely. She probably thought they were coming to arrest her for the crime that led to her being covered in blood. Did SCHABUSINESS and the victim meet at Home Depot? That's funny if you know. If you know, you know, but that's funny. It's too bad Andrew Tate didn't run into SCHABUSINESS. Oh, people, you're so mean. Come on. Party on, Garth. All right. I just can't get over her last name. Well, that's what she chose. She chose that name. Her original name was Coronado. It was Taylor Denise Coronado, and she changed it in 2017, 2018. Was her husband doing meth too? We don't know. He was in jail. Nicholas, but apparently he was. Nicholas Staros trial watch. The defense does have a leg to stand on. Taylor even brought it with her. Yes, she did. Thank you so much. I think she had a better time than Weekend at Bernie's. Gigi, go to the bad girls' room. Shame on you. All right, let's get back to this. One more super chat. Should get Doggo Cam turned on when we finish reading this. All right. Here we go. Paragraph 3. Your complainant's review of the report of Detective Jenna Luberda of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that Detective Luberda received additional information that TP, again, the victim's mother, told patrol officers that SCHABUSINESS's van, which had been parked outside her address for a day or so, was gone. Okay, so the police there is like, hey, you know who did this? Well, my boyfriend, my son's girlfriend, her van was parked out in front of the house for a couple of days. She's gone. It's gone. So yeah, the van was gone. Patrol and other detectives were at an address on Eastman Avenue where the van SCHABUSINESS had been using was parked. So, the van is now parked where SCHABUSINESS is, and where SCHABUSINESS had been taken into custody, and the van was later examined. Detective Luberta reports that in the rear passenger seat, behind the driver's seat, there was a crockpot box. Not a crock pot, a crockpot box. Medical examiner Dr. Vincent Tranchita went to the box, which was on top of a laundry basket of clothes, and located additional human body parts, including legs. So in the crockpot box were some legs and other bits and pieces of a human body. Head in the bucket, legs and some other bits in the box, in the back of the van. So that answered the question.
Put the gun down. I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? Not till you give me the What's gun. In the fucking box? Give me the gun.
We ain't got that question answered. It was legs and some other body parts. Your complainant's review of the report of Detective Phil Scanlon of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates that the Detective Scanlon summarized evidence obtained during a search warrant, and the search warrant is going to be the subject of Friday's stream. The search warrant was executed, things were found, the defense wanted all of the evidence that had been collected from the search warrant thrown out. The judge said, no, it's coming in. So we'll talk about the search warrant and the details on Friday. Detective Scanlon summarized evidence obtained during a search warrant executed at the residence in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, where the victim was located. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, a human head severed from the neck was located in a bucket in the basement near the stairs. The head was identified visually in comparison with a prior photograph of the victim, and it was confirmed to be the victim. According to Dr. Tranchita, there was visual evidence of strangulation. I almost strangulated there. There was visual evidence of strangulation observed. That gets explained. Taylor SCHABUSINESS, she explains what the strangulation was all about in just a bit. So there was strangulation observed. Also located in the same bucket was a male organ, along with body fluid and 2 knives. There was a head, a whole bunch of body fluid, and the other head, the male organ. Yep. Both heads in the bucket. His head and his head. We're just getting started, people. Those of you that were saying this can't get worse, it gets worse. This is the warm-up. Megan Fox in the chat. Megan Fox has been through this with me before. Hey, Megan Fox. We're doing this for old time's sake. Yeah, Megan was one of the original people that went through. Can you believe it's been over a year, Megan? Megan Fox in chat, everybody. The medium smart journalist, not the thumbs, the cool one. All right, so yeah. There was a human head severed at the neck and a male organ and body fluid found in the bucket with 2 knives. Now, for those of you in chat, keep score of how many knives were found. So we got 2 knives in the bucket. Other body parts were found in the basement in other bags, including plastic shopping bags, along with 3 knives. So we've got a head and a head in a bucket. We've got legs and some other pieces in a crock pot box in a van. And then we have other body parts in several bags in the basement of the house. So there were 3 knives, including a bread knife, consistent with kitchen knives. The bread knife comes into play. She talks a little bit about the bread knife as they get going, but we were asked in chat to explain what a bread knife is for those of you that don't know what a bread knife is. If you don't know what a bread knife is, it's a long knife that you use to cut bread. And if you just have like a regular knife, you try to cut bread with it, it smashes it. So you need a blade with big serrated edges. This is a bread knife. It's essentially a saw. That's all it is. It's a razor thin saw, a long serrated knife, as Valhalla Awaits said. So yes, there was a bread knife there, which that's a bread knife. That was the prop I went to get earlier. Yeah, so if you don't know what a bread knife is, you do know now. This will come into play a little bit later. So keep everything. There's body parts everywhere, and there's 5 knives, 2 in the bucket, 3 in other bags. Let me bring this back up. Oh God, where? Okay, along with 3 knives, including a bread knife, consistent with kitchen knives. Located in a storage tote, an upper torso was located with the separated head. Oh, I'm sorry, I just skipped a line. The upper torso was located. The upper torso had numerous rigid cuts at the site where the head was removed, consistent with the separated head. So yes, they apparently decided that the severed head they found in the bucket matched the torso that they found in a tote. And why did I do that? All right. The upper torso, okay, also located in the tote was a carving knife consistent with a kitchen knife. That's knife number 6. Located in the tote was a carving knife consistent with a kitchen knife and several internal organs. Legs and bits in a box in the van, head in a bucket, torso and some other organs in a tote, and some other organs scattered throughout the house in other bags. Also located, we're not done yet, folks. Also located in the search was what appeared to be significant blood staining on an unsheeted top bed mattress, along with what appeared to be a site of previously cleaned up blood on a concrete surface next to and under a significant portion of the bed. Evidence of drug use was observed in the open on the top of the entertainment center, including a glass pipe and a gem bag containing light-colored powder material. Also observed was evidence of blood around a stand-up shower located in the unfinished portion of the basement, and what appeared to be numerous blood drops were visible on the concrete floor in front of the shower that appeared to have been partially wiped or washed away. Bernice Conklin says, this girl saying she's not guilty. Well, she originally pleaded not guilty. Then the plea was changed to not guilty by reason of mental deficiency, or basically not due to reasons of insanity. So the defense is not saying she didn't do it. They're saying that she didn't realize what she was doing was wrong at the time she did it because she was crazy. Detective Scanlon reports that during the search, he stayed in contact with Detective Graff and Detective Kempf, who at the time were questioning Taylor Schabusiness. So they're questioning Schabusiness. There's a couple of cops questioning Schabusiness at the same time they're investigating the house, and they're talking back and forth. Detective Scanlon reports that based on Schabusiness's statements and officers' observations at the scene, Detective Scanlon found the information Schabusiness was saying to be consistent with the officers' findings during the search of the basement. So, yeah, Schabusiness is over there talking to cops, going, hey, this is what happened. This is what I did. Listen to all of these things that I'm going to tell you. And then you've got people at the crime scene calling the investigators going, hey, this is what we found here. And the detectives are going, yep, that's pretty much what she's telling us, and vice versa. This is what she's saying. And the detectives at the house are going, yep, that kind of matches what we're looking at here. So this is the beginning of self-snitching extraordinaire. Detective Scanlon found the information business of saying to be consistent with officers' findings during the search of the basement. Paragraph 5, your complainant review of the reports of David Graff of the Green Bay Police Department, which indicates this is where it gets a little bit rough, people. Detective Graff was on February 23rd, 2022. Detective Graff reports that he met with the victim's mother, TP. TP stated that around 9:30 p.m. on Monday, February 21st, so 2 days before the murder, Taylor Schabusiness, well, it was a little more than a day because the murder happened very early in the morning, February 23rd. Taylor D. Schabusiness, date of birth 11/23/97. I'm literally almost exactly to the day 3 years older than my son. That is so weird. Came and picked up the victim. TP stated that the last time she saw the victim alive. So yeah, the last time she saw her son alive was like a day before the murder. SCHABUSINESS came, picked him up, then they went somewhere. TP stated that her boyfriend told her that sometime Monday night into Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, the victim and SCHABUSINESS returned to the home and went into the basement. TP believed that SCHABUSINESS and the victim were in the basement during the day on Tuesday, and they went in the basement and they didn't come out for an entire day. TP stated that she did not go into the basement, but she did recall hearing SCHABUSINESS talking at one point. TP stated that she and her boyfriend were out of the house during the day on Tuesday. So I guess they may have come out of the room while they were gone during the day. TP stated that there was a minivan parked on the road in front of the house during that time, and she's not sure if it was SCHABUSINESS's. And this is the bad part. This is the bad part here. TP stated that sometime between 2:30 and 3 a.m. that morning, February 23rd, 2022, she was awoken by a storm door being slammed. So the storm door slams and she wakes up. TP stated that she heard a vehicle and she assumed it was SCHABUSINESS's. So TP stated that she got out of bed and saw the light in the basement was still on. TP stated that she went to see if the victim was still there because she thought SCHABUSINESS had left. TP went into the basement and did not see anyone, so she started to walk back up the stairs. And that's when she noticed a bucket next to the bottom of the stairs. TP stated she removed a blanket that was over the bucket and discovered the head of the victim. So let's put this in real terms. The mother went down to see if she was still there. Then the mother sees a bucket she doesn't recognize. This kid's mother takes the towel off the bucket, and she is met with the sight of her son's head in a bucket at the bottom of the stairs. Not just his head, a bunch of fluid, 2 knives, and his severed penis. I can't even begin to comprehend that would fuck you up. Just no question about that. Fucking up doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what that would be, I would guess. I mean, just, that's pretty damn horrific. She discovered the head of the victim. And then she calls the cops. Detective Graff reports he was then informed that Taylor SCHABUSINESS was located by patrol officers and brought to the station. Officer Russell informed Detective Graff that SCHABUSINESS had a large amount of what he believed to be blood on her clothing. Detective Graff observed SCHABUSINESS had a cut on her left thumb. Well, she'd used, 7 knives so far that we're aware of? So it only has 1 cut. It's probably pretty good. Detective Graff also observed some scratches on her arms and hand that, according to SCHABUSINESS, were self-inflicted. Detective Graff also noticed on SCHABUSINESS's hand a red substance stain that Detective Graff believed to be blood. Now we get into the self-snitching. This is Taylor SCHABUSINESS's self-snitching. Xterra Bill says, do not date crazy ever. Mm-hmm. Detective Graff spoke with SCHABUSINESS after advising her of her rights. She was read her rights. Detective Graff told SCHABUSINESS that a few hours ago, officers were sent to a residence in Green Bay, in which the head of the victim was found. SCHABUSINESS's response was, that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, understatement. Detective Graff asked SCHABUSINESS if she knew the victim, and she said she did. Detective Graff confirmed with SCHABUSINESS that she lives on Eastman Avenue, and the van that was located was her roommate's. So great. Now her roommate has feet and other bits and pieces of a human body in her van. I'm sure her roommate was real happy about that. Detective Graff confirmed with SCHABUSINESS that she drove ST, that's the roommate ST's van, to Eastman Avenue earlier in the morning. Detective Graff asked where the rest of the victim's body was. I mean, it's like, did you do this? We need to get her to confess. He's just like, look, where's the rest of the body? You're clearly soaked in blood and there's feet in your van. Where's the rest of them? And her reply. Detective Graff asked where the rest of the victim's body was, and SCHABUSINESS stated that it was still in the basement. Detective Graff asked her to tell him what happened, and SCHABUSINESS's first comments to Detective Graff were, "That is a good question," because she had blacked out during that time. Detective Graff asked SCHABUSINESS if it was just her and the victim in the basement, and she very helpfully and very, very much to her own detriment said that it was, and nobody else had come down. Great. So without even being asked to, she completely eliminates anyone else on planet Earth as a suspect in the killing. Was it just you two down there? Yep, just us two. Nobody else ever came down. JKD Buck, the SCHABasement. You can go join Unhung Hero in the bad boys room. Unhung Hero, he's in the penalty box for rigor coitus. You're also in the penalty box for the SCHABasement. Shame on you. Shame on you for talking about the SCHABasement. But I'm going to steal that. Thanks. God. SCHABUSINESS stated that she and the victim were smoking the bitch. What is the bitch, you may ask? Well, which Detective Graff was able to clarify with SCHABUSINESS that he believed she was referring to methamphetamine. So she called meth the bitch. So they were smoking meth, but that's not all. We get into more drugs later as she proceeds to tell them exactly all of the drugs they were doing that day. SCHABUSINESS stated that the victim had a chain that he had put around his neck. SCHABUSINESS stated they were getting to sexual intercourse. The strangulation was part of the sex act, according to SCHABUSINESS. SCHABUSINESS stated that she and the victim had used strangulation during sex in the past. Everybody likes a little choking now and then, don't they? I wish I could say that was the end of it, but it gets worse. It gets much worse. Literally. This is the main course now. We've had the appetizer. Now it officially gets worse. Detective Graff asked SCHABUSINESS questions about her using ST's minivan and asked if she and the victim had contact with anybody when they first got back to the house. SCHABUSINESS then made the statement, "Damn the head," and "I can't believe I left the head though," referring to the victim's head. This is where I would admonish people not to talk to the cops, but don't self-snitch. Certainly don't go, "Oh, God damn, the head. I can't believe I left the head." That will not help your case. That does not make your lawyer's job any effing easier. Yeah, don't do that. First of all, don't kill anybody ever for any reason, unless, they deserve it for self-defense purposes, and make sure it really is self-defense before you do it. But generally, don't kill people. And if you do, don't go, "Oh, God, the head. Ah, damn it. Can't believe I forgot the head, though." Yep, that's the damn the head, and "I can't believe I left the head, though." That's probably the worst form of self-snitching you could possibly imagine. If you were trying to find ways to self-snitch, you probably wouldn't come up with that as an answer. Detective Graff then asked SCHABUSINESS where the rest of the body was, and she stated it was in the basement. SCHABUSINESS responded that the police were going to have fun trying to find all of the organs as she dismembered the body. SCHABUSINESS stated all of the parts should be in the basement. SCHABUSINESS stated there should be a foot or a leg in the minivan as well. Well, how very helpful, Miss SCHABUSINESS. And it's good luck. It's a jigsaw puzzle down there. You should probably find most of it. Yeah, there's a foot and possibly a leg. Detective Graff and SCHABUSINESS asked SCHABUSINESS what she did with the head. And Shabizna stated that she had put the victim's head in a black bucket and put a blanket over it. Oh, darn. I forgot what color the bucket was. So in my thumbnail, it's a white bucket. Dang it. Yeah, so cleared up that. Yeah, she put the, oh, God. Detective Graff asked how Shabizna dismembered the body. Shabizna stated that she used knives that she obtained from the kitchen. So literally, she killed the dude, went upstairs to the kitchen, got a bunch of knives, and brought him down. She obtained from the kitchen of the residence, and that a bread knife worked the best because of the serrated blade. Yeah, this worked best because of the serrated blade. Well, thank you for the tip, Shabizna. Ugh. Shabizna stated the knives should be in a black bag along with the body parts in the basement. Shabizna indicated that she would use whatever bags she found in the basement to place body parts into. Shabizna made the comment at one point she did get paranoid and lazy, and that she thought it was the dope that was making her paranoid. Or it could be the fact you just chopped up a human body after killing it and were maybe a little bit afraid someone was going to find out. Maybe that had a little something to do with your paranoia. Not saying, but the drugs certainly didn't help. And it wasn't just meth. There was more in her system, which they're going to get to in just a little bit. Shabizna described she and the victim were in the basement. And again, it's getting worse. And that the victim produced 2 chains, one for him and one for her. Shabizna described the chains at the beginning. Oh, speaking of which, it's time to unchain the dogs of war.
Release the hounds.
We shall release the hounds when we finish this criminal complaint. Then we'll watch the video of the hearing, and then we'll turn doggo cam just for all of you for being good. After this, we need a good therapy dog session. We need the cutie little bulldogs to kind of make us feel better and cleanse our palate. So yes, the victim produced 2 chains, one for him and one for her. Shabizna described the chains at the time as being chain link and silver. Shabizna would later describe the chains as being like a dog choke collar. Shabizna stated that she just went crazy, referring to strangling the victim. At one point during the interview, Shabizna stated that she could feel the victim's heart beating still as she was choking him, so she kept pulling and choking him harder, but the victim would not die, and he just kept rebuilding into muscle. Detective Graff asked at what point did she know that the victim was not alive anymore. Shabizna stated that the victim's face turned purple, blood was coming out of his mouth, and she did not stop. Detective Graff asked what she did after the victim died. Bless all of you. This is where we need the exorcist. Shabizna stated that the victim's face turned purple, blood was coming out of his mouth, and she did not stop. Detective Graff asked what she did after the victim died. After the victim died. Dead. He's already dead. He is now a corpse. What did you do with the corpse? Shabizna stated that she then played with his body. Played with his body. What does that mean? Shabizna stated that she sucked the victim's penis and that she had a dildo that she put in the victim's mouth and then in the victim's ass. She killed him, and then she sucked his penis and jammed a dildo in his ass. I told you it was getting worse. It's not over yet. Let's see if we've been demonetized yet. We're still yellow. Weird. Okay. We are still yellow in our stream. This is the longest we've ever lasted. Yeah. Detective Graff asked Shabizna if when she was choking the victim, if he tried to fight back at all. Shabizna stated that, yeah, he did. He fought back. Shabizna stated that she and a friend picked up the victim in ST's minivan, it's the roommate, after picking up the drugs. Yeah, drugs, not just meth. Picking up the drugs, the three went to the Eastman Avenue apartment. Shabizna stated that she, her friend, and the victim smoked marijuana, and she and the victim smoked some meth. We got some meth going through us, and Shabiznes's friend left. Shabiznes reported that she then shot up herself and the victim with trazodone. Trazodone is a very, very potent antidepressant. So she's got weed, meth, and a massive antidepressant pumping through her system. Shabizna stated that she and the victim left her apartment on Eastman Avenue and drove to the victim's mom's house in ST's minivan. They went to the basement. Shabizna stated that the victim's mother's boyfriend let her and the victim into the house. Shabizna stated that it was about 5 minutes after they arrived. About 5 minutes after they arrived. They hadn't been in the house 5 minutes. 5 minutes after they arrived, the victim pulled out the chains. They couldn't get at it fast enough. And mind you, this is a married woman who has an infant less than 1 year old son. Ugh. So 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes into, they pulls out the chain. Shabizna stated that she began to choke the victim, and she described it as the victim laying face down on the bed with her on top of him, pulling on the end of the chain. The victim coughed up blood, and she was just waiting for him to die while she was watching his face. Shabiznes made the comment that she was already this far, so she just kept on, referring to choking the victim. I've already gone this far. May as well just keep going. He's already turning purple and coughing up blood. May as well just keep going. Shabizna said in a lower tone of voice, "Yeah, I liked it." And Detective Graff believed her to be referring to when she was choking the victim. Shabizna stated she thought it took 3 to 5 minutes for the victim to die. She probably wasn't looking at the clock. Detective Kempf clarified with Shabiznes that when the victim began to cough up blood, she just did keep on choking the victim because she wanted to see what happens. Shabiznes made comments that she blacked out while choking the victim. Okay, so this is the thing. Did she black out and she wasn't aware of what she did? Did she black out and she woke up to find his corpse there? No. She blacked out. Well, we'll give her that she blacked out. Let's say she did black out. She blacked out while choking the victim, but when she woke up, that the victim was already purple, so she kept going. So yes, she blacked out. Fine, give her the blackout. She blacked out. But when she woke up, she kept on doing it. So that gets, as far as I'm concerned, that gets rid of the blackout explanation. So yeah, it doesn't really matter because he was still alive when she came out of her blackout, and she just kept going. Now, this next sentence again. This next sentence reminds me of Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone, she has that video of her boyfriend in the suitcase, and he's like, Sarah. And she does that creepy thing that it would be like a great ending to a horror movie. You've got the evil person with like the body and the Sarah, and she just you can just hear her go shh, and then you fade to black. That would be the ultimate ending to a horror movie. But this kind of reminds me of that Sarah Boone just going shh to her dying boyfriend. Shabizna stated that she enjoyed choking him and made comments to detectives asking if they knew what it was like to love someone so much that you kill it. Have you ever loved something so much that you just had to kill it? Now, again, we talked about her pleasure, performing oral on his corpse and using the dildo on his nether regions. Yeah, look at this next sentence. It was not a brief thing. SCHABUSINESS stated that she played with the victim's body for like 2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours after he was dead. She played with his body for 2 to 3 hours, which included sucking his penis and putting the dildo in his mouth and anus. Detective Graff clarified with SCHABUSINESS that she was in the basement with the victim all during the day of Tuesday into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, and then dismembered the Mormon. The Mormon? The hell was that? Where did that come from? I saw something in chat which somehow made my brain get triggered. That was weird. She then dismembered the victim's body. Wow, where the hell did that come from? Jeez. SCHABUSINESS stated that the plan, she had a plan. I don't know where that came from, guys. Loin fire, right? Now, she had a plan. She wasn't without a plan. And see, this is the problem. When you're going for first-degree murder, we're trying to get off first-degree murder, which requires planning. Don't let the cops know you had a plan. SCHABUSINESS stated the plan was for her to bring all of the body parts with her, but she got lazy and only ended up putting the foot and the leg in the van, and she forgot the head. Well, yeah, she planned to bring the whole thing, but she just got a little bit lazy. Fuck it. I'll just take the leg and the foot. And SCHABUSINESS made comments that she did not mean to kill the victim. Well, the other comments that you've given probably contradict that. She made the comments that she did not mean to kill the victim, but as she was choking him, she liked it, and she would just keep doing it. SCHABUSINESS also made the comment that she was not prepared as killing the victim was random. SCHABUSINESS stated that the victim's body on the bed in the basement, that she had the victim's body on the bed in the basement, and she pulled him to the edge of the bed and put the black bucket underneath the victim's head while she was cutting the head off. SCHABUSINESS also talked about using a bucket and tote to catch the victim's blood, and she would use the shower in the basement to dump out the bucket. SCHABUSINESS was asked if she thought it was the right thing to do, and SCHABUSINESS's comment was that she did it anyway, referring to killing the victim. See, that sort of implies that she knew it was. And this was the cops thinking. She's going to go and she's going to give some sort of insanity defense for this. So they were asking, did you know? Because that's one of the elements. You have to be unaware of what you were doing at that time was wrong. Like you have to be so crazy you don't realize that murdering someone and chopping up their body into little pieces and doing things to them was wrong at the time you did it. Not now, not before, but at that time. So they're asking her, did you know that was wrong? And her comment was, well, I did it anyway, meaning that she knew it was wrong, but she just did it anyway, referring to killing the victim. Your complainant's review of the records of the Wisconsin Circuit Court Access Program, a website which records the presumed truthful and reliable, blah, blah, blah. These records indicate that defendant Taylor SCHABUSINESS was the defendant in Brown County. This is her prior case, and there we are. Oof. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the criminal complaint against Taylor SCHABUSINESS. First-degree murder, mutilation of a corpse, sexual assault of a corpse. Those are the three things she's charged with. Those are the three things she's going on trial for on Monday.